Hi friends, welcome back. This is the Rocky Outcrop Technical Analysis channel. I'm Rocky Outcrop, your Rocky Outcropticians. You're my friend, I'm your friend. Thank you so much for tuning in, like and subscribe and all that good jazz. And let's have a cuppa with Chainlink. Oh, that's a nice cup of tea that, by the way. So here we are in the charts. And we're looking at Link versus USD on the Coinbase chart. Now I've got the 1 hour chart up, and if you've watched my Ethereum video earlier on, you saw that almost all of the analysis, I think maybe even the entire thing, was done on the 1 hour chart. But I was kind of doing a little bit of a satirical thing here, where I was trying to tell people and remove some of that FOMO and fear so that people can get clearer head when they're doing their technical analysis. So I'll not actually stick on the 1 hour chart here while we look at this, but I am opening it up on the 1 hour chart because I'm interested in, sorry for all the the movements on the charts there. I'll take off auto. What I'm trying is that you can see here of the 1 hour chart that we've come down here, and twice we've touched off of this critical support area that we'd already identified and spoken about quite a bit, and then we've come up since. Now, I had somebody asking me in a question yesterday, like, what should I do now? Should I sell at a loss? And I didn't really know how to respond to the comment on the YouTube channel because I can't tell you, I'm actually not joking when I say I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not, and I'm not actually here to give you specifically to give you financial advice or anything. So I couldn't really answer that question directly. But also as well, it's like I don't know. I don't know your circumstances. I don't know the size of your position. I don't know your history. I don't know your experience with trading. I don't know what your risk tolerance is. Presumably, you're only trading with money that you can afford to lose because that's the only way that any of us do this, right? So there's that. And ultimately then I suppose YOLO, just stick with it because YOLO. But it's really don't be asking me for specific targets and actually what to do with your trading account. I can't actually make decisions for you. And on this on the one hand, that means when things are going wrong, I can't come in and save the day. But equally, when things are going well for you, it isn't actually because I've come in and done it for you. It's yourself. So take the good times with a pat on the back and take the bad ones with your chin up. It is on you and to make these decisions. So let's just look at what we've been looking at anyway recently, and we've had the prices come all the way down. The $4 area that I said previously would be a decent area for longs in terms of being able to manage your risk and all the rest of it has obviously failed there in that respect. And by failing there and then in that respect, what it really means is that in and around this area here at the $4 mark, when it really started to break down below it, it would have been quite an easy time to say, I'm going to have to get out of this. And then if you hadn't actually done that, pardon me, by the time it went down to 376, actually came all the way back up to 398, at which point you could have just said to yourself, look, I'm going to actually get out of it this time round here up here, and that would have been a wise decision for you to have done over there if you were paying attention during that time. Of course, if you weren't paying attention during that time, then well, whatever, because you don't really you could have managed all of that with stops and everything else yourself anyhow, and with just like, I don't know, whatever. Well, here we are now, though. Anyway, so where are we now? And I'm looking back over to the 24-hour chart just so we can get a clearer picture of where we've come down to and what's really going on. And what's really going on overall is that we are now in a position where we can actually open and close below this 236 Fibonacci retracement that we've had drawn in for quite a while now, and this could actually turn into a valid one, in which case you'd be looking at, like I said, 360 as your first port of call for in terms of if you wanted to take a long out. Now, I did say as well that $4 is an area where it's easy to manage your risk around if you were to be looking to go long, but the ideal one is obviously around 360, and this is the first area where the prices could come back after a retracement. We've had a retracement down as far as the 236 and then as far as the 382, which is the start of the golden zone, and this is typically where prices can turn around at. Of course, typically then if you're like Dow Jones, you'd say that they turn around at the 50% level. That's where you always aim for. And then if you're like sort of, I guess, the majority of Fibonacci traders or harmonics or any of these sorts of types of traders, then you're looking down to the 618, in which case you could say that you could think that potentially the prices will go as low as $2.80. That could absolutely happen. And that's really what we're looking at the minute. So what we want to know is whether or not this is going to act as support. Of course, I can't tell you that. The only way that you'll find that out is through the passage of time. But we want to see if this actually acts as support. And since the prices are right on here, bang on here right now as we're talking about it, then we can say, look, if this starts to break down the way, then we can expect the prices to probably go on down here to the 320 area or so. However, there's a caveat in there, like we have made a lower low currently, unless the prices retrace all the way back up here by the end of the day, which they very well could. They very, very well could. Then then we'd be making a lower low for the first time on the daily, right? And that could then stop happening anywhere in here, and we could go in and make a higher low again, so like we could then, so a lower high, sorry, so a lower high could be anywhere up as high as say up to the $4.50 mark, and then it could continue to go on down thereafter down to $3.20. So you don't actually know how things are going to respond at any given level, but this is the first area where you could realistically say that you would be able to fairly easily manage your risk again here in the way that you could have at the $4 one in a way as well, where you could manage the risk. You could have taken it along there. Could have done it when I was speaking, but like whatever, as this isn't live, and then you'd see the prices go up potentially. Potentially, and that in the meantime we're still actually really in a sort of price discovery mode. Let's go over to the versus Bitcoin price and see how things have gone. Well, this is the pattern that we had drawn on here. Said if it was to break down below here, then you could potentially get your measured move. Let's do this stupid measured move thing. I hate doing this, but it seems to be the norm on YouTube. So go down here, draw a stick on, and go, oh look, because we can't add numbers. 4 1 down to 3 4. Yeah. So anyway, you'd be looking potentially down here, and that's the same. It's the same when you look at the sort of way that this all works on the dollar price is actually quite similar in that you could be looking down towards this area here where we had our last low before the one that we've just made a lower one at, where you could potentially be looking towards the prices turning around potentially or going as far as. And in terms of those things, in terms of going as far as, you'd be looking at taking profit on a move. So presumably if you're playing this and you're shorting it, don't actually know where you short Chainlink, let me know in the comments down below. Can you short it on Binance these days? I don't know, but presumably you'd be shorting it down here, and you'd be looking around about here for your to take profit on that short, and that would be the greedy target, obviously. So anywhere around here would be fine, and I think that more or less is the same across both the charts at the moment. In terms of like really looking down at oscillators and things like that, I feel like there isn't much to be said, which is why I haven't brought it up. There could potentially be at any given time on any of these things, actually not necessarily Chainlink because it has got a low. Well, no. So here on the 24-hour chart, you can see we've still not set in another low yet. So we've not got a new low yet here at all. And until the prices go down to 37,000 Satoshis or whatever that number is there, they won't have had a new low at all either. So this could all then turn into sort of a hidden bullish divergence. It could sort of turn itself around into that. And of course, if the prices do go on down and turn lower, then you just have bearish convergence as opposed to any sort of divergence on the charts. And while the same can't be said of in terms of this here being a low and us going below it, I feel like you could almost discount that when you see the way it is on the Bitcoin chart as well as being the low necessarily, and that all of this here is really just gearing up to get a higher low and above anywhere above this area here. So I would be somewhat nervous about trying to play this the whole way. Certainly wouldn't, in fact, myself. And I'm kind of questioning as to whether or not this pattern up here is even necessarily real anyway, because let's face it, there was hardly any touches on the bottom line. So if you were to be really sort of mean about it, you could just say like it's never even happened at all. It wasn't never even really existed. It's just a downward sloping trend line. And what we're really looking to see is if we can break past some point along this line here. I mean, I honestly, there isn't an awful lot to be said about this asset right now. What you're looking is to see whether or not it's going to turn around at the prices that we've been talking about. So I'll just go ahead and try and publish this video now, since that's the most relevant it can really be, and fully aware of the knowledge that it could become completely relevant by later on, but also trying to suggest to you that we could maybe see some of this what looks like convergence currently turn into hidden bullish divergence, possibly between these different lows here, like say this low here and this one which isn't lower, and you can see here this is as low as the RSI came, as low as the Stochastics came, and the Stochastics and the RSI are both lower over here, so that could turn into hidden bullish divergence on a bigger time frame when you look across, like say here to the 24-hour, and you can see a similar sort of thing going on the go, but it's not actually gone lower yet. So just if the prices kept going up, then that would just be convergence and normal on the chart, so to speak, in the grand scheme of things. So you know, let's just see how this pans out. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to go on and do a Tezos video now, so I really appreciate anybody who likes and subscribes and joins up to the channel. Let me know your comments down below what you think. Try not to use too many swear words, because it actually just, you know, it makes it, you know, makes it so it's harder to understand what it is you're saying. Or else go ahead and use extra swear words just to be funny about it, you know. Anyway, okay, see you in the next one.